Fans of the 500 series format will be delighted to know that Heritage Audio have produced a stereo Fairchild style compressor that will fit in your lunchbox. The Fairchild 670 holds an almost mythical status, with vintage units often fetching upwards of £200,000 on the second-hand market. The question is, does the Heritage Audio Grandchild live up to such a legendary legacy? The Grandchild can be used on literally any audio source, with a healthy dose of warmth and musicality coming through from its tubes and transformers. In particular, I think it shines really nicely on drums, vocals, and even on the mix bus. Let's have a listen. Just before we get started on some drums here, I just wanted to run through some of the controls here, because it's worth understanding how some of these work and how to use this. This switch here is the on-off switch, but in the middle you've got the bypass setting, which is where it's set now. As you flick down, you'll see it turns on and the VU meter lights up to indicate that. This switch here is your time constant switch, and the easy way to think about this is at the top it's fastest on setting 1, and as you go all the way down to setting 5, that's your slowest. Now, I find settings 2 and 3 to be the most useful ones, 2 being just a little bit quicker than 3 in general. 2 is really good on drums if you really want to start getting a little bit more smashy. And 3 is that little bit slower and lets some more of the transient through, and we'll probably explore some of that when we get onto the drums in a moment. The gain knob is worth knowing, this is really important actually, that this is an input to the compressor circuit, not an output trim. So yes, you can use the threshold knob here like any other threshold on a compressor, and the more you do that, the more you're going to get compression. But if you set it here and you're just tickling the compressor and then turn the gain up, you'll see you get even more compression. So these have to be used in tandem when getting the levels and the gain reduction on your circuit right. Finally, the DC threshold is essentially a control, in simplest terms, where if you see it all the way clockwise here, to be used as a regular compressor. All the way this way around is essentially a brick wall limiter, and everywhere in between. Now, personally, I find this most useful just as normal compression settings with the DC threshold clockwise, and you'll see it gets quite aggressive as you bring it round and start limiting things. So I don't tend to use that so much, but over here is, in my opinion, where the magic happens. So let's have a quick listen to some drums now and see what we can do with it. Before I start attacking the vocals with the Grandchild, I'm just going to play the raw audio on this, because I just want to demonstrate how much dynamic range there is in this vocal before we start going to town with it. So have a quick listen.
Come with me and we'll live out our dreams. We'll chase rainbows all the way home. The stars will guide us where no one can find us. Let's dive into the unknown.
There's a quick example there, and you can see even by the waveform that there was quite a big, dynamic range there. And we're going to use the Grandchild to tame that now. And this is where, in my opinion, I think it really shines. I'm sure there'll be parts of this we're going to be compressing up to about 20 dB. And what's great about this particular product is that you will get that much compression, and it doesn't ever really sound compressed. There's no pumping or unnaturalness about it. So let's flick it on and see what we can do with this.
Come with me and we'll live out our dreams. We'll chase rainbows all the way home. The stars will guide us where no one can find us. Let's dive into the unknown. Come with me and we'll live out our dreams. We'll chase rainbows all the way home. The stars will guide us where no one can find us. In my arms you're never alone.
The Grandchild is a wonderfully simple compressor to use, and it's certainly versatile enough to find its way onto pretty much any audio you might throw at it. I asked earlier in the video if the Grandchild lives up to the legacy of the original Fairchild. In my opinion, it does a stunning job, especially when you consider the accessible price point. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more like this. See you again.